There was a time when Dimension Films owned both the Halloween franchise and the Hellraiser franchise. And piggybacking off the success of Freddy vs. Jason, they came up with a similar idea. This time they would have Pinhead versus Michael Myers. We're going to talk about all of the plot details in the script, but before we do that, please go ahead and hit the like button on this video and hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. While there was never a fully written script ever released on Halloween, the general premise would have had Michael Myers descend into hell to take on the Cenobites. Instead of the usual Hellraiser approach of tempting characters with pain and pleasure, Pinhead saw something unique in Michael, which was his pure evil nature, which made him unlike any normal soul. Now, this script would have featured Dr. Loomis, but this time he would have returned as a spirit, guiding characters and warning of the cosmic horror that was about to unfold. Of course, it would have featured Pinhead attempting to recruit Michael Myers into the Cenobite ranks, seeing him as the ultimate agent of death. There would have been a battle between Michael and the Cenobites, with Michael proving resistant to Pinhead's tortures and reinforcing his supernatural durability. And of course, there would have been an eventual return to Earth, where the forces of Hell and Halloween would collide in a nightmarish climax. So let's break down the plot of Halloween. The film begins in Haddonfield on Halloween night, where Michael is on a killing spree and he's eventually defeated and finally killed, either through a supernatural ritual or by overwhelming firepower, and those details really depend on the different versions of the draft. As his body collapses, his soul would descend into hell, marking the first time that the Halloween franchise would depict the afterlife. Now, once in hell, Michael would find himself in this nightmarish realm of endless corridors and torture chambers. And that is a very stark contrast to his stalking grounds on Earth. Regardless, he wanders around seemingly unaffected by all of the horrors that are going on around him. This is where Pinhead and the Cenobites take interest. Unlike normal souls who experience pain, suffering, or regret, Michael is completely unfazed. He feels no fear, no remorse, no desire, and nothing but an urge to kill. Pinhead, recognizing this is something extraordinary, begins to test Michael. This will lead Pinhead to make his eventual offer. Pinhead sees Michael as a unique entity, something beyond human and perhaps even beyond the typical damned souls of hell. He attempts to indoctrinate Michael into the Cenobite Order, offering him power beyond anything he's ever known. He speaks of Michael's endless cycle of killing and how it makes him an instrument of something greater, something that is pure evil. However, unlike past victims who are drawn into Pinhead's promises, Michael does not respond. He does not submit. He does not fear or even acknowledge the pain that's being inflicted upon him. This infuriates the Cenobites, who realize that Michael's will is unlike anything that they've ever encountered. As Pinhead grows more intrigued, he tries to bound Michael with chains and hooks, and trying to eventually break his will. However, Michael, instead of screaming and succumbing to the pain, of course he would fight back. He rips through the Cenobites with his bare hands, showing his unnatural ability to fight off Hell's influence. Pinhead, impressed yet frustrated, engages Michael in a final battle, using his chains and supernatural powers, while Michael relies purely on brute force and his relentless nature. The fight represents two different kinds of evil. Pinhead, a calculated philosophical evil that inflicts suffering with purpose. And then there's Michael as a raw instinctual evil who kills without purpose or hesitation. This brings us back to Dr. Loomis. At some point in the story, the spirit of Dr. Loomis appears. It's unclear if he is a projection from hell or a lingering soul or something more divine, but he serves as more of a guide. He pleads with Michael, warning that if he gives in to Hell's influence, he will lose whatever small remnants of his humanity that remain. Loomis may also be involved in helping Michael escape from Hell, though his part in the script is really unclear. So the battle seemingly ends in a stalemate. Michael either resists Hell's control or he finds a way to escape back into the mortal world, and this could be due to Pinhead either allowing him to leave, recognizing that Michael is too strong to be controlled, or maybe Michael forces his way back through sheer will, or in some way Loomis manages to help pull him out. Now, to me, that seems like the more logical choice because why else include Loomis in this entire story? The final shot would have likely been Michael Myers returning to Haddonfield, perhaps emerging from a fiery grave or appearing in his signature mask, signifying that hell could not contain him. So, with all of that said, me personally, I'm glad this script did not happen. I never wanted to see Michael Myers go up against another iconic slasher. As a Halloween fan, a purist, I'd rather see Michael in his own universe the way it was always supposed to be. And while I enjoy the supernatural aspect of Michael Myers, I didn't want to see him get dragged into hell and go full supernatural and then somehow be dragged back into Earth. I feel like that at some point is going way too far with the franchise. And I think they've gone far enough with a lot of the franchise as it is. So, with all of that said, I do want to know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. Would you want to see Pinhead versus Michael Myers? Is this a script that you would have liked, or do you have a different idea that may have made this script even better? And once again, don't forget to hit the like button on this video. It helps out a lot more than you know, and hit the subscribe button.